So I'm Altan, and I work for the Near Foundation. And today, I'd love to break it down a little bit about how I see the future of DeFi and how I see Near can play a big role in it. I'm a bit jet lagged, so if I lose any technical details, forgive me for that. So when we look at DeFi today, it's very fragmented, right? So crypto has always been fragmented in a way. Like Near started as a separate L1 than Ethereum. But the modularity summer that we've been seeing lately is taking to the extreme. If you go to L2B today, you'll see like 41 active L2s, and with those of, sorry, I'm trying to get the clicker, but anyway, with those of 36 coming on the way. So we'll have roughly around like 76 L2s coming up soon. And just like we heard about Monad, there's also new L1s coming in. And this is just creating and fragmenting the whole space. Now, when we go back to user experience, obviously a lot of you folks know MetaMask and use MetaMask. But you can see that there's tons of wallets, right? I mean, if you're using Starknet, which has been a bit of a discussion on Twitter, you probably use Argent. And there's also other wallets like Leap and that are like beyond the EVM ecosystem. Now, there's also the problem of bridging. So if you want to bridge from, I don't know, Near to Ethereum, you would use Rainbow. And then if you use, I don't know, trying to do L2 bridging, you use an alternative. And this is just going to grow. Like as the number of chains grow, the reliance on different wallets and the reliance on bridges is just going to increase. And yeah, again, highlighting that point of new wallets having sort of their own wallets too. And there's actually a funny tweet about this from Mert. If you look at how many L2 stacks are emerging, and you look at the sort of like the combination of that, there's like 1,000 different rollups you can launch today, and developer experience is just getting harder and harder every day. And the problem with this is that developers need to marry a stack, sort of, right? Like you would just pick OP stack and go with it, and that's just creating a lot of problems in the space. Now, if we look at liquidity, liquidity is just fragmented. So Ethereum has roughly around, when I checked yesterday, has 47 billion TVL. But then that liquidity is now going up to L2s, which Arbitrum 1 is roughly around 12 billion. And the rest of the folks that are following Arbitrum are 7 billion, 1 billion. So even though Ethereum has the most sort of liquidity, the liquidity is still going to L2s. And taking to the problem to the bit of the extreme, really, you have different stacks launching now. So Arbitrum Orbit has chains, right? So then be more chains that's coming up and fragmenting the liquidity. And you see the same problems with OP Stack and Polygon. So now, let's coming back to Near, right? So how do we solve this problem? We think about chain abstraction is the new sort of solution to the problem that we're seeing in the market today. And there's sort of a couple ways to think about it. The first way to think about it is just we're playing with zero-knowledge proofs to sort of aggregate the liquidity in a couple of different layers. And also, chains will keep getting abstracted. We're playing with decentralized front ends, but also Near's account model as well, which I'll talk later. And just to sort of set the mood here, why we're the best one to work on chain abstraction. Near's vision has always been sort of building the open web. And currently, a lot of apps that are on Near are abstracted. So we've seen roughly around 35 million wallets being created on Near since its start. And actually, as of last month, this number should be now 18 million with Hot. We've been seeing a lot of sort of normie users coming into crypto and interacting with Near on abstracted user interfaces. And yeah, Sweatcoin, if you're also in the US, Sweat had their launch last year, this year, and they have roughly around 1 million active users as well. And when we think about sort of how we're building into chain abstraction, it's good to start from the bottom to top, how this works. So last year, in NearCon, we announced a ZK WASM prover, which is just a research collaboration between Near and Polygon to build sort of like ZK WASM enabled chains. And we think that this works for sort of unification of security and liquidity across chains. And the other benefit of this was that we're trying to bring Near to closer to the Ethereum ecosystem. The other partnership we did is with EigenLayer. Then we're building actually, it's coming to the testnet now. We're building a fast finality layer where rollups can settle in. The layer is actually sort of secured by the EigenLayer validators. And these will eventually, they will settle on this layer and eventually will settle down onto Ethereum, but they can use this layer for fast finality, meaning you can do fast draws for L2s, and any bridging that you want to do, you can on this layer too, which allows sort of the security side of things. And the other one that I actually worked on, which is the data availability for Ethereum rollups, which is essentially building Near's cheap DA layer to Ethereum L2s. Currently, it stands around sort of 8,000x cheaper than Ethereum, and also it's roughly around cheaper than 30x than Celestia. And there's more stuff coming up about DA and the roadmap too in the conference. Now, going back to sort of like a bit more on the application side, there's a new application coming which is live called DapTap. So DapTap's vision is to have this one front end that you can interact with different, let me start the video actually. Let it play at the back. So the idea is you have one front end and sort of 100 different applications from 13 different chains. And the benefit of this is when you think about L2 space today, the whole of the DeFi is separated. So you have to go to different bridging protocols, different DEXs, and all these different applications. But the benefit of DapTap is to have this in one place as sort of like React components. And what you can do is you can connect with your MetaMask and then do whatever you want to do with it in DeFi. So you can lend, you can borrow, you can stake, and swap in just one interface. And the great thing is the front ends are decentralized, and it's quite cool. So if it's live on daptap.net, but it requires an invite code because you can collect points. And what you can do is you can search DapTap on Twitter, and you'll find some access codes that people have been sharing. So I didn't share mine because there's only 4, and they're already kind of gone. So I can't send more. Now, going back to sort of up the stack and thinking about wallets, really, Near has this unique account model that's been sort of active since its mainnet launch. It has sort of this account abstraction from the start. And the cool thing about this is that you can have one account that can hold many keys. So in this case, what we're building towards is you can have one Near account, and that Near account can control an Ethereum address, an OP address, and even a Bitcoin address. And the cool thing is you can have just one wallet, and that's the one crypto wallet you have, and you can interact with any other chain you want to interact with. So the cool thing is that it's currently compatible with EVM and Bitcoin, but we're working towards getting this into to be integrated with Solana, all the other sort of chains as well. And the way it works is those keys live in the Near blockchain. They live in the Near validators using this technology called multi-party compute. And when a user comes in, this is all abstracted from the user, but the user can recover those keys from the blockchain itself. And if you're a developer, this is actually pretty simple. So you're just going to use this sign sign function, where you can just send a payload to transact on the other chain. So you have a Near account, and you sort of like do those transactions on Near, and then that would send that sort of payload to the other chain using a sort of like an RPC provider. And coming to the sort of the end, really, how this would work is in a chain abstracted world, you definitely want to just have one wallet, but also have the ability for developers to pay gas fees, right? So if you're going to Sweat today, and if that's a multi-chain experience, the idea is that users shouldn't pay anything on the network because they don't want to deal with the blockchain. The way it works is pretty simple. All the sort of complicated stuff works at Near protocol. That sends a sort of a chain transaction. So the transaction actually lives on the Near protocol. It's the indexers would take that transaction and send it to a sort of a relay service, and that relay service would handle all of that, right? So it will, if it's a sort of a transaction go to the BSC network, it will just all handle that for you, and the user doesn't have to even think about it. So yeah, what's next? With the cool primitives that chain signature allows, we expect there's a lot of sort of different applications you can build. Some of these could be cross-chain lending and borrowing. Imagine a world where you just have an account and then you can lend in all different chains and borrow in all different chains. So DApp is going towards this vision, where although it's not integrated yet, you can do this all in just one interface. You can also do cross-chain swaps. That actually have one DEX in Nearest thinking about doing this, where you can swap in from OP to Arbitrum in just one atomic fashion. Although it will take some time and take some sort of research to do this, it is possible in using the Near account. And if you're in the conference, there's a chain abstracted day. That's, I believe it's tomorrow, where the founder of Sweat will talk about it too. They've actually tested sending a transaction from Near to BSC, where you can pay something on BSC with just Sweat, which is a token that lives on Near but makes a payment in other network. And obviously, we want to see more chain abstracted apps where the interface is just a mobile app or a Telegram bot, whatever you want to think about it. It just abstracts all the sort of the complexity, and you can just do anything you want, really, not thinking about the blockchain. And finally, the other ways that you can, Telegram bots have been sort of very popular in the Solana space, and you can even think about a future where you can swap different assets, and you just do that on a Telegram interface, and don't really have to think about switching networks or anything else. So that's where I'll step by. I know it's a lot of information to take, but we want to take sort of Near's technology to help scale Ethereum and also sort of abstract the chains that Ethereum ecosystem has been launching. And that's it.